Now we're going to learn how to crochet slip stitches, okay? First, here I have done 10 chain stitches, okay? And remember that we're going to do single crochet stitches, but we're going to begin until the third chain stitch, okay? Then we're going to continue doing single crochet stitches in each chain stitch, okay? Then we're going to do a second row of single crochet stitches, then a slip stitch, single crochet stitch, slip stitch. We're going to intercalate. This is going to be our first practice or example, okay? Now we turn our row, our first row, okay, of single crochet stitches. Now we're going to crochet a chain stitch, okay, and we're going to begin. First, I'm going to crochet a single crochet stitch in this practice or example. Here is it, our first point. So we're going to do a single crochet stitch, okay? Now we're going to do a slip stitch. The slip stitch we're going to do is very similar with a single crochet stitch, but there is it a little or a small difference, okay? Now, this is the second point or stitch, so we introduce it, we pull out the thread, and now the difference with the single crochet stitch is that in the single crochet stitch we pull the thread in both holes, okay, but now we're not get in the slip stitch, we're not get thread, only we're going to move the first hole into the second hole in this way. Look, this is the first one we introduce in the second one. Look, we don't need more thread. Now the next point, we're going to do a single crochet stitch, okay, in this way. Look, here I get thread into both holes. Now in the next one, look, we introduce it, we pull out, and now here I have two holes. I don't need more thread, I don't need it, because I need to move the first hole into the second one. Look, in this way. Now the next point, a single crochet stitch in this way. Look. Now in the next one, we're going to do a slip stitch. We introduce it, and now I move the first into the second hole. Now in the next point, a single crochet stitch. Look, in this way. Now in the next one, a slip stitch. Look, here I'm going to introduce, pull out, and now I move the first hole into the second one. And this is the way that is going to see it. That's the difference of the slip stitch and the single crochet stitch, okay? Now we're going to do another example. Here I have begun in the same way, okay? I have crocheted 10 chain stitch, and from the third one I begin crocheting single crochet stitches in each chain stitch, okay? Now I'm going to do another row, but only with the slip stitches, because I want to see you how is the difference of the slip stitch and the single crochet stitch, of how it seems, okay? Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to turn it, we crochet a chain stitch, okay? Now we're going to begin. Look, in the first one we're going to begin doing our slip stitches. Remember, we introduce it, we pull out, and now we introduce the first hole into the second one, always. Look, the next point is this one. So we introduce it, we pull out, and we introduce the first hole into the second one. we introduce it, we pull out, and we introduce it into the second one. We introduce it, we pull out, we introduce the first row into the second one. We introduce it, we pull out, we introduce the first one into the second one. We introduce it, we pull out, we introduce the first one into the second one. And we're going to repeat this in all this row. Now, I want to see you the difference. Look that here is it the slip stitch, and it is very similar to a chain stitch. Look, it's very similar. This is a slip stitch, and in the down part, this is the single crochet stitch. Slip stitch, single crochet stitch. That's the difference of this one. You have to practice many times so you can do it any amount of chain stitches and single crochet stitches, and then crochet in the next row only slip stitches to practice more.